Hi, I'm Mabel, and these are my parents. But why do I look more like my mom, and why does my sister look more like my dad? Let's get into talking about it. I look like both of my parents. This is because humans are sexually reproducing animals, meaning that women create eggs and men create sperm. At puberty, women start dropping their eggs once a month, whereas men are always creating sperm. If sexual intercourse occurs, then men and women can have their sperm and egg meet, which would form a baby. If not, then women will have a period. The sperm and the egg both contain 23 chromosomes. When these mix, it gives us the two separate sides of our DNA, creating our 46 chromosomes. Our 46 chromosomes could be any mix of our parents' 46 chromosomes, 23 from each side. The best example of how we get either the first or second chromosome from each chromosome pair is our sex chromosome. This, in females, is XX, and in males is XY, meaning that each mom gives, on the maternal side, will give the child a X chromosome. Whereas, on the father's side, the father can give either an X or a Y chromosome, meaning if you get the Y from your father, you will be a boy, and if you get the X from your father, you will be a girl. So, I got the X from my father, and I had to get the X from my mother because my mother only has X's, meaning that I became a girl. However, my brother, who got a Y chromosome from my father and had to get the X chromosome from our mother, became a boy because he has X and Y chromosomes. Chromosomes contain variants called alleles, which in different combinations will cause different traits. My favorite example of this is blood types. Blood types are a genotype, which means that it refers to the genetic makeup of the cell rather than the physical characteristics of the cell. In phenotypes and genotypes, there are both dominant and recessive traits. Today, I'll be using a Punnett square to show you exactly how alleles will connect to each other based on the mom on top and the dad on the side. On Punnett squares, dominant traits are represented by uppercase letters. Recessive traits are represented by lowercase letters. For example, in type A blood, you could have a type A double uppercase A, which are both dominant traits, or a type A with an uppercase A and a lowercase o because the A is dominant over the O. This also occurs in type B. There are two uppercase B's or an uppercase B with a lowercase o. However, in type AB, there is always an uppercase A and an uppercase B. In type O, there is always two lowercase o's because both A and B would be dominant over the O. So neither of those can be present. So if mom, as represented at the top, is a type A with double A's and dad is a type B with double B's, then the child must be AB. However, if mom is AO and dad is BO, the options are A, B, AB, or O. I'll now be showing you how to do a phenotype on a Punnett square. Phenotypes again are genes that produce physical characteristics. The physical characteristic that I'll be showing you today is blue eyes versus brown eyes. So, my parents both have blue eyes, and blue eyes are a recessive trait. So, we're looking at two little b's for blue. So, my mom must have two little b's because to have blue eyes, you must have two little b's. My dad also must have two little b's, meaning that me and all of my siblings have blue eyes because the only possibility is two little b's. Whereas, people with brown eyes could have big B little b or big B big B. So, if both parents have brown eyes and they both have big B and big B, then their kids cannot have blue eyes. However, if one parent has big B and little b and one parent has two big B's, they also would not be able to have a kid with blue eyes because blue is recessive and only one parent has this. But if parents with brown eyes have a big B and a little b and both parents have this, it will cause 1/4 chance of the parents having a kid with blue eyes. Genetics like these, such as a type A blood with an AO genotype, are the reasons that people are called carriers of recessive genes. As I just explained, if both parents are carriers of one recessive gene, then the kid could have the recessive phenotype or genotype. This process, as I showed you on the Punnett square, presents multiple times on almost all chromosomes. This is why every person has a different genetic makeup unless they're identical twins. And that's why you look like your parents. Thank you for watching, and thank you to everyone who helped me in this process of making this capstone project.